I just can't give it up. Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and in today's video, as you guys can see, we are in the Lexus RX350, and I've been getting a lot of love on the RX content. Not a lot of YouTubers out there are making content on the RX platform. And in today's video, as you guys can tell from the title, I am going over the 10 things that I hate about my Lexus RX350. Now, obviously, I'm using the word hate with a grain of salt because everything that I highly dislike, I think would be a better way to put things. Everything I really dislike about this car is completely eclipsed by the things that I love about this car. So the 10 things I love about my RX350 will be coming in the near future. Before today's video, we're going to be going over the 10 things that I don't like about this car. And for quite a few of these things, I'm not going to lie, I did kind of have to stretch my reasoning just a little bit. But with that being said, we are gonna get started with my first least favorite thing about this vehicle. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, this is a 2010 RX350 all-wheel drive, has the 3.5 liter non-hybrid motor, and to me this motor just seems a little bit underpowered, and I know why that is. If you were to get this 3.5 liter motor in, let's say, a Camry, an Avalon, some of the other Toyota vehicles, even an ES350, this motor is going to be more than enough power to get those sedans moving. But with this vehicle being a big SUV, the power to weight ratio just is not that great. This thing weighs 4,300 pounds. I believe this motor is around 270, 280 horsepower. And to me, the motor just doesn't provide quite enough power to this SUV for me to have fun. Now, with that being said, it still is a very peppy engine, but to me, I feel like an extra 20 or 30 horsepower in this engine would definitely work wonders. Now, the second thing that I really dislike about this particular generation of vehicle is the infotainment system. Now, again, this thing being a 2010 non-navigation, just has the base model head unit on it. Now, that wouldn't really be a deal breaker, but the thing is, in order to get an aftermarket head unit in this vehicle, it's not as simple as just buying a bezel and a wiring harness. You pretty much have to get a head unit that was purposely built for this vehicle, and the problem with that is that really jacks up the prices. Whereas there's not many companies who make head units for this vehicle, and the ones that do usually charge around $600 to $800 for the quality unit. So for that reason, I really don't like the infotainment system. All I've been using myself is just a Bluetooth adapter that I can connect to my phone, and I'll just play music off my phone, and the quality is relatively decent that way. I just personally can't justify spending the money myself. Now, the third thing that I dislike about this vehicle is something that I've noticed most RX350 owners that are on the forums complain about, at least the ones that don't own a hybrid, and that is the fuel economy. Now, this thing is a pretty heavy, big V6 engine, and the fuel mileage is really not that great. Now, on average, if I'm not beating on it, I can do about 11.0, 10.9 liters per 100 kilometers. That's not that great. My Altima 5-speed manual with the 3.5 liter motor, I used to be able to get like under 10 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, this thing, when you get on it, it'll suck the fuel back more than you can imagine. It's actually quite ridiculous. Now, I noticed if I'm using the transmission in Tiptronic, to pass people downshifting with the transmission as opposed to just hammering the gas and letting the vehicle go into overdrive. I notice I'm getting a little bit better fuel economy. Do one more pull here. Little highway merge there. But overall, the fuel economy really isn't that good, especially if you're like me. You like to drive spirited. You like to have fun when you're driving. You will be using a lot of fuel. Again, for me, comparing this to the Altimas that I've had in the past, my G35, which I currently own, even my pickup truck, it costs less in fuel for me to drive my 2010 4.6 liter V8 Toyota Tundra than it does to drive this thing. But overall, the gas mileage is just not that great. Now, the fourth thing that I dislike about this vehicle, which I was quite surprised and I didn't realize it was going to be a problem until after I bought it and started daily driving it, is the interior cargo space. Now, obviously, with it being an SUV, you're able to stack things a little bit higher than you could in, let's say, a sedan, but overall the interior cargo room is really not that much. You don't get a whole lot of space between the back of the rear seats and the tailgate when it closes, and because the tailgate comes down, the window comes down on kind of an angle, you're a little bit limited to how high you can stack items. Now, with that being said, it's still a little bit more than the IS350 that I was looking at before purchasing this. You get a little bit more cargo space, but overall I was a little bit disappointed. Now, in the distant future, when this thing gets older, the Tundra gets older, I can see myself trading this vehicle in with the Tundra on, let's say, a Toyota Sequoia or maybe a GX570, just for that bigger space and cargo capacity. But of course, we'll be crossing that bridge when we get there. But yeah, interior cargo room, definitely something that I wish was bigger. So now we're on to number 5, and my 5th least favorite thing about this vehicle is the all-wheel drive system. So for those of you guys who know, the RX350 is a front wheel drive based vehicle, meaning that if you were to take this engine out of the Toyota derivative, it would be coming out of a front wheel drive Camry, Avalon. Again, ES350 shares this exact same motor. And the thing with the transmission is that it's generally running in front wheel drive mode and only activates the rear wheels when it's needed. Now, typically that wouldn't really bother the average person. The only reason that it bothers me is because I'm a drift boy, rear wheel drive. You know, I got the G35 with the 6-speed, and I was kind of hoping that there would be a way for me to deactivate the front wheels on this thing and only drive with the rear wheels, you know, and get me into a little bit of a drift mode there. Now, I have taken this thing out on the snow. I have driven it with no traction control. It will get a little bit sideways, but this thing almost instantly will just pull you with the front wheel, straighten you right out, and you know, give you a pretty worry-free drive. But to compare it to an FX35, which is the Infinity that's in this same class, I guess you could call it, that is a rear-wheel drive based vehicle, meaning that you can disable the front differential and get a solely rear-wheel drive vehicle, which means you can have a lot of fun. And I just kind of wish that was something that the Lexus offered. But keeping in the same theme of the transmission and the four-wheel drive mode, the sixth thing that I dislike about this vehicle is how slow the transmission shifts. Again, to most people looking at this vehicle to buy and purchase and to own themselves is not going to be a problem. But for me, again, I like to have fun when I drive. I do typically drive this thing in sport mode probably 90% of the time. Again, I just find it gives me a little bit better fuel mileage and I don't have to struggle to pass people quite as much. But with that being said, the transmission is pretty slow to upshift. And let's say I need to go from 6th gear down to 3rd gear, the downshifts take forever. You know, when you're in a situation where you want to pass somebody and you know, you got to think quick. You see somebody coming up in your rear, you want to get out of the way, back into your lane. It can be a little bit tricky with the transmission being as slow as it is. Now, with that being said, it's still 10 times better than having a straight automatic with just a low 2nd, 3rd, and drive range. The fact that you can still get into Tiptronic mode, shift when you want to, it's better than not having that. But I wish it was something that was just a little bit quicker. Now, if this was an ES350 or an IS350, there might be some tunes that we can get, but with this being an RX350, I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm almost 99% sure that there's no market for a transmission tune on this thing to make it shift a little bit better. So for now, it's just gonna have to be something that I'm gonna have to deal with. And now here's where we're starting to get into the things that I kind of had to struggle to pull out of the air, and that is the front bumper. Now, with this being a 2010 3rd gen RX350, it has the front end bumper that kind of dives in as soon as it hits behind the license plate. It kind of V's in. Now for off-roading, that's actually quite good because you have a really nice approach angle. You know, not a whole lot is going to impact the front bumper as far as snow. When you know, this isn't an off-road vehicle, but should you have to, you know, it provides a really good approach angle. But for me, I'm a sports car kind of guy. You know, Altima SERs, Infiniti G35s, things of that nature. And to me, the front bumper just lacks that sportiness. Whereas if you look at a 2013 to 2015 RX 350 F Sport, that front bumper is really where I kind of want this front bumper to be, which is why in the near future I will be doing the full front F Sport conversion with the LEDs, front bumper, F Sport grill, all that good stuff. But for me, the front grill or the front bumper that's on here right now is just, I really don't like it. So for any of you guys out there, if there's somebody out there with a white F Sport or even a sport bumper off of a 2013 to 2015 RX 350 who wants to sell it, let me know. I'm having a hard time finding something that's reasonably priced that's not going to kill me on the shipping. But now we are going to get into, I believe, number 8. And the 8th thing that I dislike about this RX 350 is the premium fuel, man. Now, buying this car, I didn't realize it required premium fuel. Now, it's very unusual because the 3rd gen from 2013 to 2015, the bumper that I was just talking about that I wanted, that is the same motor, same horsepower, same body style, same everything, but those do not require premium fuel. But this 2010 says that it requires premium fuel. Now, I have put regular in this before with no issues. It doesn't make me feel good about it, but it also doesn't make me feel that great having to put in premium fuel every time I fill this up, especially with the previously mentioned fuel mileage issues. So for me, I usually will throw mid-grade in this thing with the occasional premium top up here and there. But yeah, the fact that this thing requires premium fuel is something that I'm really not entirely stoked about, and is something that people buying these cars should probably take into consideration before they make that purchase. Now, the 9th thing, and this is something that I've already made a change in myself and improved the ride quality and handling of this vehicle substantially, and that is the stock all-terrain SUV tires that come on this thing. Now, when I purchased this vehicle almost a year ago now, it came with a set of Michelin all-terrain tires. I think it had a stock set of 17 or 18-inch Lexus alloy wheels. Those are something that I got rid of pretty soon after I purchased this vehicle, and I ended up replacing them with a set of 20-inch Dodge Charger wheels that had some Cooper, I think they're RS3 G1 tires. A really nice low profile tire meant to be on a Charger, Challenger, you know, BMW 5 Series, things of that nature. And I gotta say, when I first got this car, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was coming around a ramp on the highway, and I was doing, you know, around the speed limit, maybe a little faster than I should have been going around that corner, and the all-terrain tires let loose, and it was just understeer, and the car damn near slid right off of the side of the road. And I was really worried that it was a vehicle design, with it being an SUV, me being used to driving sports cars, faster, you know, lower cars, better handling. I thought it was just an SUV thing, but it wasn't, because when I put these tires on here, I gotta say, the vehicle handles like probably 60 to 70% better than it did. I can take turns like extremely fast, especially if I'm in Tiptronic mode and I play, you know, my cornering and my apexes and all that correctly. This thing handles relatively well. I'm not gonna say it handles like it's on rails, because it doesn't. That would be a lie. It still has a lot of a sway back and forth, but the tires, a grippy set of tires, will make this thing it'll just be night and day difference. Now obviously, with a 20-inch low profile tire, the ride quality is going to be a little bit more harsh, but with that being said, that was one of the things that I disliked about this vehicle. And if you dislike that about your RX350, I'd encourage you to make that change. And that brings us to the last 10th final thing that I dislike about this vehicle. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to be a selling point, and this will probably be the reason that you got into a Lexus or Toyota product. For me, this specific vehicle, I'm sure if I had the IS350 or something that was a little more sporty, I wouldn't quite feel this way. But this is a very boring vehicle. I thought with the Tiptronic transmission, the 3.5 liter, you know, relatively decent powered motor, I thought this wasn't going to be a problem. But after driving this thing for close to a year, it's really just a low drama, very boring car. When you even get on the gas, it's hard to even tell that the thing's doing anything, because it's so quiet, so smooth. The transmission shifts like butter. Again, to a lot of people, this is going to be a selling point, but if you're a car guy like me and you want something that's going to be fun and sporty and exciting, this really isn't it, and I'll be the first to admit it. But like I say, there is going to be a video coming out in the future of the 10 things that I do enjoy about this vehicle, and even having one or two of those things would completely get rid of any of the problems that I just listed previously. You know, the car is just, it's that good. And let's be honest, if you're driving a Toyota or a Lexus, there's probably a pretty good reason why you're buying that, and I'm pretty sure that we all know what that reason is. But with that being said, I'm thinking we're gonna put an end to this one. I feel like I've been talking forever on this one. If you guys did enjoy this one, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys want to see more and you're not subscribed yet, definitely do so. And yeah, man, if you guys are RX350 owners out there, let me know what you hate about your RX350. And with that being said, I'm your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and we're gonna catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace.